The hidden fighter Daniel ran through the dark hall, his boots loud against the metal floor. Red lights flashed on the walls. Alarms howled like angry animals. He knew he had only minutes before the patrols closed in. His breathing was rough in his helmet. Every step felt heavier than the last. He had come to this ship to save the other humans taken in the last raid. But the rescue mission had failed. Most of his team was gone. Now he was alone, and he did not know how to get out. He turned a corner and almost crashed into a tall figure in black armor. The shape was like a statue, still and silent. For 1 second, neither of them moved. The warrior's mask gleamed in the red light, hiding any hint of a face. Then the voice came, low and strange. "Stop." Daniel lifted his weapon, hands shaking. "Move," he said, trying to sound braver than he felt. The warrior tilted her head, studying him like he was something curious. "You should not be here," she said calmly. "No kidding," he snapped. He tried to step around her. She moved faster than he could see. Her hand closed around his wrist and twisted. The gun clattered to the floor. He gasped in pain, dropping to one knee. She did not strike again. She only watched him, her golden eyes shining behind the black visor. "Why did you come?" she asked. "To take back what you stole," he said, his voice rough. "There is nothing here for you now," she said softly. Her tone made his anger burn hotter. "That wasn't your choice to make," he said. She was silent. Then she pulled him to his feet with one smooth motion. Her hand was strong and cold through the armor. "You are not like the others," she said. "What does that mean?" he demanded. She did not answer. Instead, she pushed him toward the wall. A panel slid open. Behind it was a small cell, just big enough to hold one person. "Get in," she ordered. "No." Her voice turned colder. "If you wish to live, human, get in." Daniel's heart pounded. He knew she could break him in half without effort. But when he looked up at her mask, he felt something strange, like she was trying not to do this. He stepped inside the cell. She touched the panel again, sealing the door. The force field hung to life in front of him, trapping him in blue light. He pressed his hands to it, testing its strength. It felt solid as stone. The warrior stood there, staring at him through the barrier. "Why are you helping me?" he asked. She was silent for a moment. Then she said, "Because you called me beautiful." His breath caught. He remembered the first time he had seen her, days ago, when she had captured his team. He had not meant to say it aloud, but the word had slipped out. "Beautiful." Her head lowered a fraction, as if she was remembering to. "You should not say such things," she said quietly. "Why?" Her voice was almost sad. "Because you have not seen what I am beneath the armor." He swallowed, unable to look away from her eyes. "Maybe that doesn't matter," he whispered. Her hand lifted, almost touching the force field. Then she pulled it back. "Rest," she said, her voice flat again. "You will need your strength." "For what?" he asked. Her visor tilted just enough that he thought she might be studying his face. "For whatever comes next," she said softly. Without another word, she turned and walked away, her steps silent. The alarms kept screaming in the halls. But inside the cell, there was only the quiet thump of his heartbeat and the memory of her voice. He did not know why she had spared him. He only knew that now he had more questions than ever. The prisoner's question hours passed. Daniel sat on the cold floor of the small cell, back pressed to the wall. The alarms had finally stopped. The red lights faded, leaving only a soft blue glow. His mind was crowded with questions. Why had she spared him? Why had she locked him here instead of delivering him to the war council like the others? And what did she mean about what she was beneath the armor? He ran a hand over his face, feeling the grit of dried sweat. He was tired, but he could not rest. Not when he didn't know if she would return. He shifted, trying to ease the ache in his back. When he looked up, he almost jumped. She stood outside the force field, watching him. Her armor was darker than the shadows. Her mask gleamed faintly, hiding her expression. He didn't know how long she had been there. Maybe she had never really left. "How long are you going to keep me here?" he asked, his voice rough. "Until it is safe," she said calmly. "Safe? For who?" "Safe for you," she said. Her answer made something tighten in his chest. He shook his head. "Why do you care if I'm safe?" She was silent for a long time. Then she spoke so quietly he almost didn't hear. "I do not know," she admitted. He moved closer to the force field. "You risked a lot by not turning me in," he said. "If they find out, they will." "Not," She interrupted. And if they do, her golden eyes locked on his, then I will pay the price. She said. Her voice was steady, but he thought he heard something like fear beneath it. What is your name? He asked suddenly. She did not answer. You know mine. He said. It's only fair. Her head tilted a little. Fair. She repeated. Yes. He said. You said I'm not like the others. Maybe you're not either. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she lifted a hand, pressing her palm flat to the force field between them. He placed his hand opposite hers, feeling the energy tingle against his skin. My name is Kaler, she said at last. The word was soft, almost like a secret. Kaler. He repeated. Something flickered behind her mask, but she didn't pull her hand away. That name will mean nothing to you, she said quietly. It means something now, he said. Her hand lowered slowly. She looked down, as if ashamed. You should not look at me that way, she whispered. What way? He asked. As if I am something good, she said. He frowned. You spared my life, he said. You're trying to protect me. How is that not good? Her voice turned hard again. Because you have not seen what I am beneath the armor, she said. You do not know what my kind has done. Then tell me, he said. Silence. Double quotes Kalar. He said softly. Tell me. She stepped back, her face turned away. No, she whispered. If you knew, you would not call me beautiful. You don't get to decide that, he said. Her head lifted a fraction, but she still would not look at him. Rest, she ordered. He shook his head. I don't want rest, he said. I want the truth. Her voice was low, tired. The truth will come soon enough, she said. She turned and walked away into the shadows again. But her name Kayla stayed in his mind long after she was gone. And so did the sadness in her voice. Asterisk. The escape offered next day began with more alarms. Daniel woke to a deep rumble that shook the floor under him. He pressed his hands to the force field, feeling it vibrate. Outside the cell, red warning lights flashed in harsh patterns. Something was very wrong. He strained to hear voices, but the hall was empty. He wondered if Kayla was out there fighting, or if she had already left him behind. His heart twisted at the thought. The floor shuddered again. He stepped back as a plume of smoke drifted past the force field. Panic crawled up his spine. If the ship was under attack, no one would remember a human prisoner. He would burn in this little cell while everyone else fought to survive. He lifted his fist to pound on the force field, but before he could, it flickered and went dark. The energy vanished with a soft sigh. He stumbled forward, blinking in shock. The door was open. He stepped into the hall. The air was thick with smoke. Small fires burned along the walls. He looked left and right, unsure where to go. That was when he saw her. Kayla stood a few meters away, her armor marked with fresh scorched lines. Her mask turned toward him. You are free, she said. What happened? He asked. An attack, she said. Your people have returned. He swallowed. Then I have to help them. You will die, she said flatly. Maybe, he said. She moved closer, her step smooth and silent. Listen to me, she said. If you run now, you might survive. And what about you? He asked. Her head tilted. I must stay, she said. I will tell them you escaped during the chaos. He frowned. They'll blame you. Her golden eyes did not look away. Yes, she said. Then come with me, he said. No, she said quickly. Why not? He demanded. Because I am sworn to this ship, she said. Because I cannot be what you want me to be. What is that? Her voice dropped low. Something worth saving, she whispered. His chest ached. Kaler, he said. You already are. She flinched as if he had struck her. You don't understand, she said. Then help me, he said. Tell me. She was silent for a long moment. Then her hand lifted. She touched the side of her helmet, fingers brushing the release clasp. But she did not open it. If I take this off, she said, you will know everything. Then show me, he said softly. Her hand dropped. Not yet, she said. Not here. Another explosion shook the walls. She looked past him, as if listening to some signal he could not hear. You must choose, she said. Choose what? Freedom or truth, she said. He took a deep breath. I choose you, he said. Her breath caught. Double quotes full. She whispered. She turned and started down the hall. Come, she called. I will show you the way. He ran after her, his heart beating so fast he felt lightheaded. He knew this might be a trap. He knew he might die. But he also knew he could not leave her behind. As they moved together into the burning corridors, he realized he no longer cared about escape. He only cared about the promise she carried behind that mask. The promise of something true. The wounded heart corridors burned around them. Smoke rolled along the ceiling, hiding the security cameras. Kayla moved like a shadow, silent and sure. Daniel followed close, trusting her steps more than his own. Every few meters, she would pause and listen, her head tilted as if she heard things he could not. This way, she whispered, leading him through a side door. The room beyond was dark. Small machines flickered with dying lights. Where are we? He asked. Maintenance tunnel, she said. It runs under the main deck. He swallowed. Is it safe? No, she said, but safer than the halls. She crossed the room to a control panel. Her armored fingers danced over the keys. A hatch in the floor slid open with a hiss. She gestured for him to enter. He moved to the edge and looked down. A ladder disappeared into darkness. He glanced back at her. Are you coming? He asked. Her voice was quiet. Yes. He climbed down first. The metal rungs were cold under his hands. When he reached the bottom, he stepped aside to wait. Kayla dropped lightly beside him, her boots barely making a sound. She moved past him down the tunnel. He followed, trying not to think about how deep underground they were. After a few minutes, the tunnel ended at a sealed door. She pressed her palm to the lock. Nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. It's jammed, she said. Her tone was calm, but he heard frustration under it. He stepped closer. Can we force it open? I will try, she said. She lifted her blade and drove it into the seam of the door. Sparks flew. She braced her shoulder against the steel, straining. The door creaked, but did not move. Move back, she ordered. He stepped away just as she kicked the panel with all her strength. The metal buckled inward, but as it did, a sharp piece of broken frame slashed across her side. She gasped and staggered back. Kayla, he shouted. He caught her before she fell. Her armor was split just under her ribs. Dark blood leaked through the crack. I'm fine, she hissed. Double quotes. No, you're not, he said. She tried to push him away. He held on. Sit down, he said. Her golden eyes burned, but she sank to her knees. He knelt beside her and touched the broken plates. She flinched. Don't, she whispered. I have to see, he said. He reached carefully for the damaged edge. Don't look, she said again, her voice shaking. Kayla, please, she whispered. Not yet. He paused, his hand hovering over the wound. Her head lowered, her breath ragged. I am not what you think, she said. You think I care? He asked softly. Her eyes lifted to his. You should, she said. He tore a strip from his sleeve and pressed it to the wound. She gasped but did not pull away. Hold this, he said. Her gloved hand covered the cloth. Thank you, she whispered. He met her gaze. You saved me, he said. Let me help you now. Her eyes closed for the first time. She looked tired. No one has ever tried to help me, she said quietly. Then it's time someone did, he said. She breathed slowly, as if trying to steady herself. The dark blood soaked into the cloth, but it was slowing. He pressed his hand over hers. We'll get you out of here, he promised. Her voice was just a whisper. And then what? He swallowed. And then you tell me who you really are, he said. Her golden eyes opened. She studied him for a long moment. Yes, she whispered finally. I will. Asterisk. The hidden truth tunnel was quiet. Daniel kept one hand pressed over Kayla's wound while she caught her breath. Her golden eyes were half closed, her breathing slow but steady. He wished he knew how to help her better, but she never complained. She only watched him, as if trying to understand why he stayed. After a while, she spoke. The door is weak now, she said softly. You can break it. I'm not leaving you here, he said. Her gaze dropped. If you stay, you might die. He shook his head. So might you, he said. I'm not going without you. Her hand shifted, resting lightly on his arm. Why? She whispered. He looked into her eyes. Because you're not my enemy, he said. Her breath caught. You still don't know what I am, she said. Then show me, he said gently. She was silent. Then, slowly, her hand lifted to the clasp of her helmet. Her fingers hesitated. Are you sure? She asked. Yes, he said. When I remove this, you cannot pretend anymore, she warned. I'm not pretending, he said. Her eyes closed for a moment. Then look, she whispered. She pressed the clasp. The helmet released with a soft hiss. She lifted it away. Her face was not human. Silver scales covered her skin in fine patterns. Faint scars crossed her cheekbones, old and deep. Her eyes were the same, golden, bright, searching. She did not look away. "This is what I am," she said quietly. He stared, but not in fear, only in wonder. "You're beautiful," he said softly. Her mouth trembled. "Don't lie," she said. "I'm not," he said. She swallowed. "You don't know what my people did," she whispered. "To yours. I know what you did," he said. "You saved me." Her breath shook. "I was sent to kill any human who stepped on this ship," she said. "But you didn't," he said. Her golden eyes closed. "I couldn't," she whispered. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then she looked up at him again. "When I saw you in the hall," she said, "you called me beautiful. No one has ever said that to me." He felt something ache deep in his chest. Then they were blind. He said. Her hand lifted, as if she meant to touch his face, but she stopped herself. "You should have run," she whispered. "I couldn't," he said. She lowered her gaze. "Then you are as foolish as I am," she murmured. "Maybe," he said softly. Her eyes lifted again, shining in the dim light. "The last door leads to the hangar," she said. "If we can reach it, you can escape. He said. Her mouth curved in the smallest, saddest smile. "Yes," she said. He pressed his hand over hers again. "I'm not leaving without you," he said. Her breath caught. "Then we go together," she whispered. He nodded, and for the first time, he felt that whatever waited beyond the door, they would face it side by side. Asters, the last Stanino, helped Kayla to her feet. She held her helmet under one arm, her silver-scaled face pale in the weak light. He could see how much her wound hurt her, but she did not complain. She moved to the broken door and pressed her hand against it. With a groan of metal, it slid halfway open. Cool air rushed in, carrying the smell of smoke and fuel. Beyond the doorway, a wide hangar stretched out, full of shadows and shapes he could not see clearly. She turned back to him. "Stay close," she said. "Always," he replied. They stepped into the hangar. Alarm lights flashed across the walls, throwing long red beams across the floor. In the far corner, he saw the shape of an escape pod. Hope flared in his chest. "There," he said. Kayla did not answer. He looked over and saw her standing very still. Her golden eyes were locked on something behind him. "Don't move," she whispered. He turned. 3 armored soldiers stood near the door they had just come through. Their weapons were raised. "Kayla," one of them called. His voice was cold as ice. "Step away from the human." She straightened, though he could see how her body shook with pain. "No," she said. "You would betray us for this," the soldier demanded. "I would not betray my heart," she said softly. Daniel felt his chest tighten. The soldier lifted his gun higher. "Then you will die with him." Time seemed to slow. Daniel looked at Kayla. She looked at him, and he knew he could not let her face this alone. He stepped forward, placing himself between her and the guns. Her hand caught his arm. "Don't," she whispered. "I told you," he said. "I'm not leaving." The soldiers moved in a little closer. "You have one chance," the leader said. "Step aside." "No," Kayla said again. Her voice was stronger now. "Then you are no longer one of us," the soldier said. "I never was," she whispered. Her hand tightened on her blade. Daniel knew she could not fight them all alone, and he could not watch her die. He bent and picked up a broken piece of pipe from the floor. It felt small and useless in his hands, but he lifted it anyway. Kayla looked at him, something bright and sad in her golden eyes. "You are a fool," she whispered. "So are you," he said. She almost smiled. The soldiers raised their guns. Kayla stepped in front of him, her blade ready. Daniel stood at her side, heart beating so loud he could barely hear anything else. He thought about how this had started him alone in the dark, running for his life, and he knew he would not trade this moment for any safe place in the galaxy. Whatever happened next, he would face it with her. Together. The leader took a step forward. Kayla lifted her blade high. The soldier's finger tightened on the trigger, and then, in a single breath, everything changed. A deep voice roared through the hangar speakers. "Stand down," it commanded. The soldiers froze. Kayla turned her head, eyes wide. "Commander," she whispered. Daniel swallowed. He did not know who this commander was, But he felt hope flicker in his chest. The voice spoke again, cold and heavy. Kaler, you will leave this ship, now. Her mouth parted in shock. But, now, the voice repeated. She looked at Daniel. He met her gaze. Go, he said softly. Her hand trembled. With you, she whispered. He nodded. With me. The choice scaler stood frozen. The commander's voice echoed in her mind, hard as steel. Leave this ship. Now. Her people were watching. The soldiers waited for her to obey or refuse. If she left, she would never be welcomed back. She knew that as surely as she knew her own name. Daniel's hand brushed her arm. Kaler, he said softly. She looked at him. His face was tired, smudged with dirt and sweat, but his eyes were steady. We have to go, he whispered. Her chest felt tight. I am not meant for freedom, she said. Double quotes. Yes, you are, he told her. I am not human, she said. Double quotes. I know, he said. I don't care. Her breath shuddered. The soldiers still held their weapons ready. You don't understand, she whispered. Then help me understand, he said. The commander's voice returned, cold and final. If you do not leave now, you will be marked as traitor, it said. Kaler felt the last pieces of her old life breaking away. She looked at Daniel again. His hand reached for hers, slow and sure. Come with me, he said. Her eyes stung. I will lose everything, she said. Maybe, he said gently, but you won't lose me. The soldiers shifted, uneasy. Kaler, the leader said, voice lower now. Think carefully. She lifted her chin. I have thought, she said. Her fingers closed around Daniel's hand. And I choose him, she said clearly. The soldier looked away. No more words were spoken. She turned toward the escape pod. For one moment, she hesitated, her shoulders tensed. Daniel squeezed her hand. It's okay, he whispered. She drew a slow breath and stepped forward. They walked together, leaving the soldiers behind. Each step felt heavier, but also somehow lighter. She did not look back. The escape pod hatch opened with a hiss. Inside, the small cabin glowed with blue light. Daniel climbed it first and turned to offer his hand. She stared at it. Are you certain? She asked softly. He smiled, tired and true. Yes, he said. She took his hand and climbed inside. The hatch closed. For the first time in her life, Kaler felt something like peace. The engines hummed to life under their feet. She glanced at him, her silver-scaled face bare, unhidden. You still think I am beautiful? She asked quietly. He met her gaze without hesitation. More than ever, he said. Her golden eyes softened. Then I will trust you, she whispered. The pod lifted away from the burning ship. Through the small window, she watched her old world grow smaller. She felt no regret, only hope. As the stars opened before them, she reached for his hand again, and this time, she did not let go. In the quiet between the stars, she finally believed that being seen was the greatest freedom of all.